G'day guys, and welcome to Sub 3 Hour Marathon Experiment Week 2 update. And this week was an interesting week. It's pretty humid on the Gold Coast here, and managed to squeeze in 6 runs. Was sort of aiming at that 6.5, sort of 7 hours, and managed to do that. You might remember from last week's video also, the beer count was a kind of an important thing I wanted to pull back on, so stuck to my promise this week of keeping it. I think I'd had 2 or 3 beers on the Monday, Tuesday, and that was it for the rest of the week. So interesting results sort of in, and it's also sort of really interesting where the jumps have occurred. So I had the Monday off and just enjoyed that, and got into it again on the Tuesday and ran sort of every day from Tuesday through to Sunday. Most of them sort of ran that hour runs, with an hour and a half on the Saturday, hour and a half on the Sunday. What's been really interesting this whole week has been watching the little bumps that sort of happen, the little improvements that sort of happen. So there's a few days there where it's sort of running, and not every run's on the same course or same distance. Some are flatter, some are hills, etc. So you kind of got to just sort of take everything with a bit of a grain of salt until you actually do the next sort of math test. But I feel really good about this because I'm seeing sort of some improvements already that are really encouraging and really exciting actually. And what I'm actually finding too is little things like the excitement where your mind starts to run away with things. You start thinking about the actual sort of race, even though it's sort of 7 months away, but that excitement's kicking in, and as I start thinking about it, I notice heart rate goes up and all these other things. The same is a little bit like when you're on the group runs and talking with other people. Heart rate's leaping up 4 or 5 beats, and just got to really kind of watch that and pull it back and keep things in check a little bit. But what happened this week was really interesting. It was on the Thursday I started to sort of question how's this going, and then you'd see sort of the same speed, but then maybe the heart rate would sort of come down 2 or 3 beats, and you start seeing things back at around the sort of 138s and 137s and this sort of stuff. But then what happened on the Friday, took off for a run, and it was much warmer conditions. It was 27 plus degrees. It was really humid. And a few of the runs have been seeing little bits of sort of sneaking into the 5-minute Ks. But then there was the Friday, and the first 6 kilometers of the run, all of it was like in the 540s, 550s. And I got really happy and really excited that to see such a jump. So it's almost like just overnight, and that's not the way it works. Obviously it's the build up and the mileage that's sort of led up to this, but just like that, then suddenly there's this sort of leap. So I fully expect that I'm going to see sort of lots of little plateaus and then lots of little bumps like this, where suddenly it sort of just jumps up another level and sort of just continues. The Saturday was just a really cruisy sort of long run. And then on the Sunday, did a really nice little 10K with my little man in the pram, and we sort of ran down to Burleigh, and then I went for another 4K just on my own. And again, it was really, really warm conditions, which is not ideal because normally the body's working a lot harder in the heat. And but you know, that next 5K, we're all around the sort of 545s sort of per kilometre, which is just fantastic. So these are really good signs. So all in all this week, 6 runs, 6.5 hours, 66 kilometres. From the beginning of the experiment to now, I've actually lost 1.9 kilo in body weight, or body fat I should probably say, because with the measurements and some of the tracking we're doing, I know I'm not losing muscle mass as part of this. So some of it will be water loss and stuff as well too, which is cool. But Jesus is really encouraging so far, and I fully expect, obviously, as my body leans up a little bit more, that whole power to weight ratio is going to only further and sort of improve the speed per kilometre. So all in all, a really good week, very encouraging, and body's feeling pretty good. Knees giving me a little bit of trouble. We'll just sort of see how that progresses over the next week, but it's an old injury that sort of just lingers and comes and goes here and there. Need to start introducing some body weight squats and stuff, because I find that's the thing that stronger my muscles are surrounding my knees and stuff, the better my joints feel. So we might have to start to look at including a little bit of basic sort of strength stuff. But that's the week 2 update, and look forward to seeing you next week. Cheers.